You choose violence or not, violence is coming to you. You either fight back or you die. You either fight back or you die. And that's the truth.
Today, Elon, I think the British public are telling the world that they're ready to fight back.
Good. Yes.
Come on, Great Britain.
Evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. They killed Charlie because he preached a message of patriotism, faith, and of God's merciful love. They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country. In this world, you have no idea. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen. It will not die. All of us will refuse to let that happen. No one will ever forget my husband's name, and I will make sure of it. It will become stronger, bolder, louder, and greater than ever.
I'm not condoning violence. There's more cops.
People who fantasize about a second American Civil War think it would just be flags, battles, and some kind of reset. The truth is, it would be the fastest collapse in modern history. Here are 5 terrifying realities of a civil war in America. Fact number 1, the grid would collapse in weeks. In the 1800s, families grew their own food and lit their homes with candles. Today, everything runs on power plants and substations. A war would take them offline fast, and once the grid collapses, there's no running water, no refrigeration, no internet. Fact number 2, supply chains would disintegrate. We depend on trucks, refineries, and imports for almost everything. Even grocery store bread comes from a dozen steps in the chain. Civil war stops trucks, halts refineries, and shuts ports. Within days, shelves go bare. Fact number 3, medicine would run out. Over 80% of US pharmaceuticals come from overseas. Antibiotics, insulin, heart meds, all go once trade halts. Hospitals would run out of supplies in weeks, and without power, even the ones still open become death traps. Fact number 4, foreign powers and cartels would step in. In chaos, it wouldn't just be Americans fighting Americans. Our enemy countries and cartels would see an opportunity to carve up influence and territory while America tears itself apart. Fact number 5, disease and starvation could take out more people than bullets. When sewage backs up, trash piles in streets, and food disappears, it won't be firefights that get the most people. It'll be famine, disease, and collapse of public health. To close this off, guys, all the people wishing for a civil war need to know that a modern American civil war would be 10 times worse than what they experienced before. So be careful what you wish for.
Shalom. Giving all honor, all praise, and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rechak, Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great Muslim that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations unto the hopeful elect tabernacle of David scattered abroad across the 4 winds of the earth. And you can see that spirit is being stirred up. You know, and we've been warning about these times, you know, to, you know, prepare your mind, prepare your spirit. You know, we're coming to the days of lawlessness, anarchy, which we believe is being controlled, you know, by the elite You know, they want chaos in order for them to swoop down and take total control, you know, order out of chaos. And they're using both sides of the horns of the beast, you know, to stir up that division. And, you know, it exactly leads to, you know, what the fella in the last video, what he was describing, you know, because it's going to cause society to become unstable, you know, civil unrest, insurrection. It causes instability and disorder. And, you know, these are the words of Yahushua in the Gospels. All right. And this is what he said. This is the first one. This is in the NLT translation, Matthew 12:25. Yahushua knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. A town or family splintered by feuding will fall apart. Mark 3:24, a kingdom divided by civil war will collapse. Luke 11:17, he knew their thoughts, and so he said, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. A family splintered by feuding will fall apart. So, you know, we're witnessing the fall of Babylon, all right? There won't be any balm for her pain, and she's in her terminal stages. And they're imploding this kingdom from within, which is all done systematically. The elite, you know, in order for them to, you know, have better control, they need a reason, they need a crisis. Now, it's actually easier for them to have control when the people are divided and in fear. Now, you know, I just went here on Chat GPT, and hey, this pretty much spilling the beans. It says here, it says the idea in simple terms, because I posted, it's true the elites stay in control through division of the people. And it said, yes, that's widely held perspective. That's a widely held perspective, and there is some truth to it, depending on how you define elites and division. The idea in simple terms, powerful groups or individuals, sometimes called elite, often benefit from ordinary people, are divided politically, racially, economically, or culturally, because a divided public is easier to manage, manipulate, or distract. And you can't tell me that this isn't a PSY op that's causing a lot of mind manipulation and a lot of distraction, because this is all they're talking about in the media constantly. All right, they're forcing the narrative, and it's being drawn into people's minds. And now you're being drawn to basically pick a side. All right. You know, if you're not celebrating the death of this guy, you know, you're on that side. And if you actually are celebrating this guy, then you're on that side, you know. If you are giving condolences and, you know, you speaking out against the people that are celebrating, you know, what happened to this guy, then you're on this side. So they're drawing a narrative for people to pick a side, and that literally is division. All right, which, hey, it falls right in sync with prophecy. Okay. But you can't be ignorant of Satan's devices. All right, we know how this devil gets down. All right, he knows how to cause distractions, especially when too many eyes are focused in one place, because something suspicious, something, you know, is rotten in Denmark, so to speak. All right. And mainly a lot of eyes have been looking towards the people over there in the Levant. All right. smack dead in between the Nile and the Euphrates. Though the people over there and their government, there's been a lot of close eyes on that. And even allegedly, this guy that they exited stage left, he was saying some things about their government. And they didn't like the things that he was saying. And he also refused, sponsorship. When he was questioning them, they were trying to put money in his pockets, which I believe he was already controlled opposition. But he probably started to go against the grain more than likely. So this happened, and now they're using it to cause the ordinary common people to be at war with each other. So you can see these, like you saw Elon Musk. This is supposed to be a South African migrant turned billionaire. And he's sitting in the comfort of his home yelling, you either fight back or die. And to a bunch of rallying people, a bunch of rallying Brits who are basically in their emotions. He ain't finna go out there and do anything. He's gonna continue to sit back and get more rich. So this is what's going on. It says, distraction from structural issues. If people are fighting each other, they're less likely to unite and challenge systems that maintain inequality, like unfair tax laws, corporate monopolies, or government corruption. Now you're not even thinking about with all the different legislations that Trump signed. The big beautiful bill, all this spending he's doing. All right, the increase of taxation, inflation, the cutting off of your government aid, your housing, your SNAP benefits. Now you're not even focused on that. You're not even fighting about that. Now you're fighting over this guy. It says control through fear and identity. Politicians and media can amplify us versus them narratives. See that? And that's that dragon, man. The beast having two horns like a lamb, speaking as a dragon. And they're using the media, which is a form of mind control. And they're producing this narrative and causing you to pick a side. All right. Amplifying that us versus them mentality. All right. Let me get a script. It's Psalms 144 and 11. Let me go to the KJV, and it says, rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is a right hand of falsehood. They're very high level when it comes to, manipulation, deception, psychological operation. They're masterful with that. And it's damn sure working. They out there doing these rallies. You got the magatards out there, white man fight back against who? Who exactly? It was done in Utah. So who exactly? And they don't even have the discernment to see that all this shit, it was all questionable. All the numerology, the occultic numerology centered around it all. And this is what they do through their medium, known as the media. You know, they can create illusion and have you believing in a lie. All right, which is why it says that in 2 Thessalonians, you know, that even he who's coming is after the working of Satan with all power, signs, and lying wonders, right? And you will have people that don't love the truth, that have pleasure in unrighteousness, they're going to believe in a lie. So the Lord will give them over to that. He'll allow them to be overtaken by these lies, being under that strong delusion. So these people that are buying into these narratives, you know, you're falling right into their hands, and you're making it that much more easy. Okay. It says, distraction from structural issues, and you know we're definitely witnessing that. You know, more poverty, basically more homelessness, more job layoffs. Even over this situation, a lot of people are losing their jobs because if you post your opinion to the web, they're now tracking a lot of workers. All right, and they're finding out your employer where you work, and they're saying that they're going to release a list of a bunch of people who are celebrating, and they're going to end up losing their jobs. So it's finna get serious out here, man. It says, 2, control through fear and identity, right? I think I just read that. Politicians and media can amplify us versus them narratives, left versus right, race versus race, and that's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. All right, these politicians are people of influence, the media. It says class versus class. All right, you got the working class, and they're trying to stir them all up. You're not going to even think about the super rich who's orchestrating this whole thing, because it plays right into their hands so that they can absorb it and take control. Order out of chaos. Is it to keep people emotionally charged and less rational or united? You know? So that's exactly what the enemy is doing. All right? And you can't be ignorant in these days. And the scriptures tell us, of course, us Israelites, to be circumspect. Not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the times, because the days are evil. So we're clearly at that time of evil. It says fragmentation prevents collective power. It says when people are divided into smaller competing groups, they struggle to organize around common interests like fair wages, healthcare, or education reform. This prevents meaningful change. Media manipulation. Some media outlets, often controlled by wealthy owners or corporations, profit from outrage and division and can help shape public opinion to serve elite interests. Exactly. Right on the head. Right on the money, man. That's clearly what its intent is. Remember that movie series, The Purge? I think it was the second one, The Purge Anarchy. And you had the wealthy family, and they were using that organization, the Founding Fathers of America, and they were using biker gangs and other gangs or factions, and they were using them to purge, and they were placing bets on who would be purged. So the super rich, they have their hands in all of that, because they the ones that stem to benefit from it. All right, let's cause anarchy, lawlessness, and then we already got the legislations in place. You got the Insurrection Act, aliens, the Enemy Aliens Act. You got the NDAA from previous administrations. So all type of executive orders have been produced, and all they needed was the right events. So now they can actually start basically putting things into their power, man, to start controlling the masses. They can start, putting people in prison camps. They can start capital punishment. So this is where we at, and then of course enforce more surveillance, biometrical technology to monitor and control the people. We need to start tracking down people on social media and the things that the content that they're consuming, the things that they're saying in their posts. We need a threat detection. We need this device, that device, and they're gonna use it to spy, watch you closely, and rule over you. They say never let a good crisis go to waste. So they're gonna continue to stir the pot. So this is why the scriptures say, let me grab this, concerning the wicked. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. Psalms 64. Let me get it from the NIV. And it says, hear me, my power, as I voice my complaint. Protect my life from the threat of the enemy. Hide me from the conspiracy of the wicked, from the plot of evildoers. They sharpen their tongues like swords and aim cruel words like deadly arrows. Violence is coming, and if you don't fight back, you'll die. We have to be vicious just like them. That's your man Trump. He's good at inciting violence, right? That whole administration is a psyop for the right, right? That whole little battle cry from Erica Kirk. That's gonna arouse people's emotions, man. So what they're doing with that. She was the perfect person to go out there with her exaggerated tears and make a statement like that. It says they shoot from the ambush at the innocent. Jake ain't got nothing to do with it, but guess what? They're gonna, because Esau's natural hatred against Jacob, they're gonna aim it towards you, as if Jake is to blame why society is collapsing and falling apart. They're not gonna they ain't gonna keep the same energy with the powers that be, who's actually responsible. So it's easy to target Jake. But hey, at the same time, Jake, they're wicked as hell, and they gotta pay. All right, the Most High, he's fed up with 2/3 of his people. So, even though Esau is being a damn demon, a devil, but Jake, you're in trouble. And we're coming to the time of Jacob's trouble, which is right around the corner. It says they shoot suddenly without fear. They encourage each other in evil plans. They talk about hiding their snares. They say, who will see it? They plot injustice and say, we have devised a perfect plan. Surely the human mind and heart are cunning. Yeah. And what they did with this event in Utah, that was a pretty cunning thing to do, especially to incite insurrection, to incite chaos, division. That was definitely cunning. To have it staged right there in Orem, Utah, which we brothers did lessons, going into the meaning of that the name of that city, Orem. It's from the Hebrew Irawam. It literally means to be cunning, to be crafty. And that's one of the traits of the serpent. It would be more subtle than any beast of the field. It is that same old serpent, which is the devil and Satan. So, yeah, just be mindful, man. Like the scriptures say, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. All right, now you got to watch for, all type of things, man. You got pestilences. You got, people just bugging the hell out because like Yahweh Shai warned, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So you can't even get into it with nobody in traffic. You got to basically mind your business. Just do you. So, yeah, it's that time, man. So, don't be sleep like others, but watch and be sober. All right. We in the home stretch. Let's keep continuing in our faith. Because the just shall live by their faith and not by sight. The Lord gonna do his thing. Okay. So I definitely want to go into this. And hey, you can read Second Ezra's 5th, like that last video, the guy describing the effects of a civil war and how it all leads to collapse of a society. Read Second Ezra's 15 from the 12th verse on down. He literally was describing that. This is what happens if a civil war was to break out. You would be completely blindsided, and even enemy countries will swoop in. All right. Everything would just start collapsing. Your power grid, your commerce, and everybody would lose comfortability. Everybody would lose their head. So, yeah, man, let's stay on point. Let's keep watching as well as praying. And with that, I'm going to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And until the next lesson, I say, Shalom.